So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about what happens at the QLA Hardcore seminar, and this is going to be a review of the QLA Hardcore seminar. So I noticed online, there is a lot of reviews about the QLA seminar, but there aren't that many reviews of the QLA Hardcore seminar. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about Dan Pena's seminar. So I'm an entrepreneur who was trained by Dan Pena. I have done 2 seminars with Dan Pena, the QLA and the QLA Hardcore. And both of these seminars are his sort of flagship, among other things that he has, like a book or a one-day event. These 2 seminars are really the main ones. So not everybody has done hardcore. Not everybody who has been to the first seminar has done the second. And of course, both these seminars costed me £20,000 each. So both of these seminars cost £20,000. If you were wondering, at least at that time, the prices have increased right now. And I'm going to be talking to you about what happens in the hardcore seminar. By the way, if you want to find out if somebody has done the QLA hardcore seminar, there is a photograph that you take with Dan Pena at the end of the Castle seminar and on the graduation night. And in the first seminar, you're supposed to wear the Scottish kilt, which is a traditional Scottish ceremonial outfit. And in the hardcore seminar, you wear a tuxedo. So if you want to know if it's a hardcore seminar or a normal one, and if you want to know if somebody has attended it, look at the photograph. If they're wearing a bow tie and a tuxedo, that's a hardcore seminar. And if they're wearing a Scottish kilt, then that's a QLA seminar. Actually, I think in the Scottish kilt also you wear the bow tie. So just look at the outfit. If it's the tuxedo, then it's the hardcore seminar. If it's the Scottish kilt, it's the QLA seminar. And it's far easier to identify it on Dan. If he's wearing his medals on the lapel, then that's the QLA seminar. If he's wearing tuxedo, that's the hardcore seminar. So just, a little tip to how to identify if somebody has been to the hardcore seminar. And if you notice the thumbnail, I had the bow tie, the tuxedo, and Dan as well. So that's just a little side note. So what are the features of the seminar? It's a 7-day program. It happens at the castle, Guthrie Castle. Both the QLA and the QLA hardcore seminar happen at the castle. I'm going to be talking to you about in this video what are the differences, what is in the first seminar and what is in the second. I've made a whole series about the first seminar and my experience of it. If you haven't checked out, I'm going to leave maybe a link to the series in the description below, or I can add it at the very end. So you can watch this and then you can watch that, or if you want, you can watch that and come back to this video. So I'm going to leave the link either ways. So this video is about the hardcore seminar, which is the second one. Okay, so let's get started. The QLS seminar is about the overview of the model, where he talks about the bird's eye view of the steps, and he obviously goes into the script a little bit and what needs to be done in an overview sense. And he talks about the deal structure. How do you identify an industry? How do you pick the region? How do you who are the dream team members? What are the common mistakes? Why you don't take action? Psychology, family problems, childhood programming, and a whole bunch of stuff. And then he has to, and it's a very packed very packed schedule, because it's 7 days and he has to reveal the whole model within that 7 days. So he goes through it, extremely fast and in a clear manner, but it goes by really fast. I didn't realize when the 7 days were over, and he covers all the steps. So that's more like an overview of the model. Now in the hardcore seminar, first of all, you can't do the hardcore seminar unless you've done the first one. So you can't directly go to the second one. First one is mandatory requirement. And I wasn't actually planning to do the hardcore. I just did the first seminar and I was gonna attended and then make up my mind if this is even real, because I didn't know if it's real. And when I went there, I found out it is real. So then I went into the hardcore, which I did within a week. And there were no seats for the next seminar, and the hardcore was coming. There were no seats, but we talked to Dan Pena, and he reported, and his team reported that one of the guys has cancelled because actually he died in an accident. So he couldn't come because of an accident, and I got his seat. So just think about that. If you believe in destiny or luck, but I got the seat in that seminar. And Dan Locke was also in my hardcore seminar, and I had Dan Locke on my vision board while I was creating a vision board. This is again a side note. On a personal level, I had him on my vision board. I thought he's a brilliant public speaker. He had about 4 million subscribers, and I thought he was very inspiring for somebody who could not speak English to become a public speaker. So I wanted to meet him, and he happened to be attending the seminar, and I got to be part of that. Not only that, there is a thing called the breakout rooms that Dan Pena puts you in, where it's a group of 25 people that attend either the QLA or the hardcore. It's 25 people, and they break it into multiple groups in the hardcore seminar, so you can start looking at deals, and we'll get to that. But I was also in Dan Locke's group. If you want to see, you can find out 2019 December hardcore seminar, and I think I was in group number D. So you can see the videos, and you'll find me. Maybe we'll leave a link down below. But he was on my vision board. I attend the seminar with Dan Locke because one guy met with a bus accident, and then everybody comes to the seminar, and there is a breakout room with 5 people each, and I was in the group of Dan Locke, with Dan Locke sitting next to me. So if you think visualization or vision boards don't work, I have many other stories, and I can make a whole video about that. So that was a pretty crazy experience. Back to the agenda. So the QLA seminar, it goes pretty fast, and it's an overview, I would say, of the steps. Along with the scripts, you receive all the information you need to execute, but the 7 days go by really fast. In the QLA hardcore seminar, Dan Pena doesn't have the same pressure, the time pressure that you have in the first seminar, because he can stop and pause and really pay attention and address the questions and go a little bit deeper into one particular concept. So that's a completely different experience than the first one. The other thing that I noticed about the QLA hardcore seminar is you get to see Dan Pena's different side, because in the first seminar he's shouting, screaming, he's trying to wake you up from the sleep that most people are in, and all the procrastination and lost opportunities. So he's really trying to wake you up. In the QLA hardcore, he understands that these people are serious. Some of them have already executed the steps. Some of them have closed a deal, and it's not common for people to do one seminar and then immediately do the other. So I was the one, my brother, and there was one guy called Raymond Roberts who was doing it like that. First, and immediately within a week, another one. Usually people do the first one, they execute, and then maybe they make mistakes, maybe they close a deal, and then they do the hardcore seminar. So that was another feature, that a lot of the people who had come, some of them had closed a deal, some of them had attempted, and they had much deeper questions. In the first seminar, the questions are very rudimentary, and they are very basic and beginner level. So Dan Pena doesn't have the opportunity to actually go deeper into the concepts of the model itself, because the questions are too beginner. People are just trying to get a grasp of the model. First of all, I didn't know this is about mergers and acquisitions. I didn't even know what mergers and acquisitions is, and for me to grab the whole seminar in first go, I understood the concept, but I had questions, and in the hardcore seminar there was an opportunity to go much deeper. So I think it was extremely valuable for me to do that. Another thing is that in the hardcore seminar, I think on the first day or second day, he breaks you out into group of 5 people, and that's a very intimate group, and you have opportunity to interact with each other and present deals and get feedback. In the first seminar there is no feedback, everybody's sitting in the audience and he delivers the program and you can ask questions. But here you can present business cases, you can present deals that you have looked at, businesses that you have found in various parts of the world. So I didn't have a business case because it was just within a week that I attended it, but there were other people that had gone into the market and found real businesses. So when I did the first seminar, there was no real business that I had the opportunity to evaluate. But at the hardcore seminar, there are real deals, maybe in Germany, maybe in Switzerland, maybe in Netherlands. And you could see that people are actually using the model. People are actually going and finding companies, locating them, talking to the owner, and they have the opportunity to share their experience and share what they found out, what they discovered, what were the challenges, what were the some of the potential frauds or some of the potential scenarios where the owner was trying to fool them, and how Dan Pena catches it. So there was a real life interaction going on, on the whiteboard where people are presenting real business cases. And mostly I was quiet because I didn't have experience at the time. I'd only been in the, for 1 week gap between the two seminars. But there were people who had several years of gap. There were people who had about a year gap, and they were coming after a long time. So they had been in the trenches. So they had a lot of data, real life data that they were sharing with the class. So first you had to present the deal in the group, and then you present it, and then each deal gets presented in front of the whole group. So not only do you learn from each other in a particular group, but every group learns from every other group, because whatever the cases that were presented within the small group gets presented in the main class. So the hardcore seminar keeps shifting from one session in your group and one session with the whole class, where Dan Pena gives his comments, and he takes rounds with every group. So when he takes rounds, you're just 5 people. You can sit next to him. I mean, you can ask him any questions, and he's a little more, I don't want to say humanitarian, but he's more approachable. He's less crazy, and he's normal. I mean, and this is the time where you can judge that he's actually a normal person, and he's talking in a normal, rational manner. So you kind of get surprised that, oh, he's being normal. I mean, just like, I don't want to say your friend, but just like any other, how normal people act. And once in a while, he'll start jumping up and down and shouting to illustrate a point. But for the most part, he was pretty normal. So that's another feature. You go into the deals. Questions, questions are of a different quality when you don't understand the model and when you understand it and you've implemented the model. And those questions are much deeper. So the people that were asking questions were questions that I did not even have thought about. I mean, I didn't even think about those things because they didn't happen. So I was able to get exposure of things that people dealt with after taking the action. So I was able to understand, okay, this is a scenario that can happen, and here is how you deal with it. And I was taking notes. So that was extremely helpful. And some people had closed deals in various parts of the world. So they come and they present their cases that went through, that they closed, and what were the positives of that deal and why did they decide to close, and what were the challenges. Last minute of the deal, you can have a lot of challenges. Not everything goes smoothly. So some people face challenges with the bank, some people face challenges with the seller, some people face challenges with the board. So there were different kinds of challenges that you get exposure to, and I got exposure to. So there are live cases presented by the people who are attendees of the seminar, and many superstars were there, and many superstars come for the hardcore seminar. Now, there was this guy who was Raymond Roberts, he closed after the hardcore seminar. I think after 2.5 years, he closed first deal $25 million, and another deal, I think $10 million, and one more deal. So his portfolio value is about 50 to 60 million dollars as we speak, and this is based on the last information that I have, based on Dan Pena's videos. And I spoke to him once he had closed the first deal, how he did it, and then he explained how he did it. And I had the relationship with him because of the hardcore and the first seminar. We attended both of these seminars together. So he was already rich, and he had come to take it to another level, and he did. And nothing stops him from acquiring more companies. So congratulations to him. If you're watching this, I don't know if you do, Raymond, but congratulations. A lot of respect for you from the first day since we met. So that's Raymond. So you see real case studies, and I would say the belief in the model gets stronger because it's no longer a concept. First seminar is about the concept, but the second seminar is about real, case studies. Now that's one thing, and there are 25 case studies that you go, and some people have more than one, so could be easily 30, 40, 50. I wasn't counting, I was just paying attention to the cases. So there are some cases which are small deals, some cases which are big mergers that have happened, and we analyze the big mergers also. For example, Apple would have acquired a company, or Disney would have acquired a company. The classic business case studies, we also look some of that, and I presented the one on I think Air Canada or something. There was a big company, because I didn't have a case, I didn't have, only 1 week apart from the first seminar. So that's a big feature. The attendees, the quality of attendees is totally different. In the first seminars, you also get a lot of wannabes, or people who want to just try it out, or they are just experimenting. And this is not something that I could believe, actually, because if you spend 20,000 pounds, I would assume that you're not going there to experiment or find out what the model is. You are going there with the intention to execute afterwards. That's the only reason to spend 20,000 pounds. But I was shocked that there were people at the seminar who decided mentally that they're not going to do it, and after the seminar they don't do anything. That's in the first one. So you have, and that's, a lot of them just decide that based off of Dan Pena's personality, that, oh, he shouted at me, or oh, he shouts too much, so I'm not going to execute the model. So they use Dan's personality as a reason not to take action and build their companies. It's very shocking, and they've spent 20,000 pounds. If I spend 20,000 pounds on something, I want to milk as much value as I can, and that's maybe the Indian mentality. But I want to get as much value as I can because I've paid the money. So I asked him a lot of questions. I got the award both in the first and the second seminar to ask most amount of questions, and probably that's the reason I have this clarity, if you've been watching my videos. So I asked him a lot of questions, and I made sure he remembers me. So so there are a lot of the people who just come to the seminar and they just want to find out if this is for them or not, which is shocking. Somebody would pay 20,000 pounds to do that. You could just watch videos and figure out. So you don't have that in the hardcore seminar. In the hardcore seminar, you've got players, you've got people who are executing, who are working, who are facing challenges, who are stressed, who have board members waiting as they are in the seminar. So it's a very different vibe. And you have you have a certain personality trait which is kind of risk taker, stronger leadership skills. So that's another nuanced point. So the whole experience is different. So that's the attendees, the kind of deals that get presented, the questions, and the kind of access you have to Dan Pena and his personality. How is it different? There is another feature. Apart from the live cases, there are webinars that Dan Pena plays of people that have closed transactions in various parts of the world, that are not in the seminar. These people are back at home doing it. And there are some case studies that have made, created 30, 40, $50 million portfolio. We even looked at a guy who closed 24 deals. That's, I think, broke Dan Pena's record. And he's one of the superstars, and he comes on the webinar, he breaks down how he did it. And this is a guy in Austria. So you've got people from Austria, Germany, Switzerland, Netherlands, USA, obviously UK, that come and share how they did it every step of the way and what challenges they faced, and people had the opportunity to ask questions. Now, in some seminars, he plays a recording and the people in the audience ask questions. And so it's not a live webinar. Sometimes it's a recording of a webinar, so you don't have the opportunity to ask questions. But after the webinar, you can ask Dan questions. How did he do this? How did he do that? And Dan knows the details, and he can fill up us on the details. So that's another feature. So if the business cases weren't enough, there are webinars of people who have closed transactions from different parts of the world. So you have a very broad sort of understanding and experience. So definitely the hardcore seminar provided a lot of depth to the model. I did understand it conceptually. I wouldn't say I believed it after the first seminar 100%, because certain parts you will only believe when you've executed it. So, but the hardcore seminar, you get to see real cases. And another thing that happened after the hardcore, that we stayed with I stayed in touch with some of the people, and some of the people closed deals after the hardcore, which means that their understanding had deepened. So that's another aspect that I saw, is that how understanding, the deeper it is, it shows up in the court, on the field while you're executing. So I saw that also, what difference that it made. So that's a complete overview of the hardcore seminar. Maybe in future videos I can go on a little more detail within it, but that's generally speaking what the hardcore seminar was, and what it did for me, and what it did for many people. So that's today's video. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you soon.